All right. Finish this statement. A happy wife. That's right. A happy wife, a happy life. Now, some people might be like, yeah, duh, absolutely, of course. And I think there's a real truth to that statement. However, I think that the way we're sold that statement, or it's marketed to us, or the way we experience it in life, it's not true. It just doesn't align. And we're going to get further into that. I want to thank you for being here. My name is Gabriel Griess, your host of the Navigating Leader podcast. Awaken your vision, live boldly. So today we're going to explore that very topic, a happy wife, a happy life. And I'm sure it could be a happy spouse, a happy life, a happy partner, a happy life. In some ways too, we could even apply this to the self, and we'll do that at the end. But in this case, I'm married, just went past 16 years a couple of weeks ago, and 3 kids, thrilled with just my bride is phenomenal, way, way out of my league, right? And so I've always adored her and cherished her and looked to honor and to do amazing things for her or gifts for her. And in many times that looked like a tropical vacation or a trip to the spa or a shopping thing or a piece of jewelry or maybe some clothes, like whatever it is, right? The things that we're told pamper people or make them feel honored or special. And all of those things are great. And by all means, don't take this podcast as a reason not to buy an anniversary present or something, because I don't want to be the burden of that cause, right? But the real point is that there's something deeper. There's something more important. And that's what I want to get into. And so, Kristie and I got married in 2009, and her dad and her family were really great at managing things and accounting, and so she was taught, and she's a business school graduate, so she was taught some really strong business principles. And so when it came to filing papers and accounting and doing the checkbook and all those things, Kristie was a real I dotter and T crosser, which I adore her for, and she's amazing at. And I was more of a that looks about right kind of guy, which is some skills I picked up as a navigator. And so our lives, we just approached it a little bit differently. And so for the first at least decade, she primarily kept all the receipts and organized everything. And when tax season came around, it was a stressful thing as she prepared to send the stuff off to the accountant. And it always sort of sat with me a little bit like, why is she working so hard? Why I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And she was doing what she was trained or grew up or learned to do. And it was her family's way and her way, and it was different than mine. And so as we began to merge this family and these things, we would every year around tax time, I'm like, why don't we just box this stuff up, send it off to the accountant? That's what we're paying them for, is to put all this together. And she's like, well, I want to make sure it's right. So we inventoried it and we built spreadsheets and did all this stuff. And I always felt like we were doing more of their work, right? Like, this is what we pay them for. And so as the years passed, right, I became more involved. We became more aligned. We got a good rhythm of how we handled this, and it made sense. And we always got stuff done and did it properly. And then as our kids began to mature, we started to have Preston, our son, was doing some scanning and tracking of receipts and inventorying stuff that we would then send off to the accountant, kind of as a job, and so he could learn this process. And we had a pile of receipts and things piling up on the desk in the office. And Kristie would nicely ask, she's like, hey, are you impressing to be able to get to that? Can we get it scanned? And it was, she would nudge or she would ask. And I could tell it was important, but I never really got how important, even after all these years. And so it's one Saturday, and Preston and I have finally made our way into the office, and we're doing things, and we're scanning, and we're also handling some other household kind of things that we want to get done. And we're in our groove, and we're just jamming along, and we're getting it done. And Kristie walks into the office, and she sees Preston, and she sees me, and she sees what's happening. And like, there was this exhale. There was this like, oh, it's happening. And in that moment, I witnessed her lay down this burden. She just let it go. And like, we went from like an anxiety level of say 8 to like 3 or 0, right? There was so much relief and such a change in energy. And it was palpable. Like, I could see it, I could smell it, I could touch it, I could feel it. Like, all of my senses said that boom, something changed. And it was in that moment that that happy wife, happy life took a whole new perspective, right? And this was the takeaway for me, is that I don't have to understand it, right? It doesn't have to make sense to me in the same way that it's meaningful or purposeful for her. But if I have the ability to relieve an anxiety, or I have the ability to pick up a burden or help her lay down a burden or help anybody do that, then I get to do that, even if it doesn't have the same impact on me, right? And in fact, the task was relatively easy and had little emotional attachment to it for me, which is why we put it off, which is why it was delayed. But it was something that was always on her list, always in the back of her mind, like, I've let this go, but it's not done, right? And so that's the invitation, right? Is that we get to love and honor the people around us, and we get to, give gifts and give time and take vacations and do all those things. But probably one of the most meaningful things I've done for my bride, for my spouse, for the health of my family and our household was learning and realizing that my effort to take those things off her plate, massive ripple into the family, into the community, just into our everyday lives. So just to unburden and take that away. So it helps to remove layers of stress. It helps to remove anxiety, and it helps to ensure that there's that safety and that security, that feeling that, hey, I'm okay. I'm safe here. Everything's going to work out. For those of us, or those of the folks listening that don't have that significant other, that spouse, right? The same can hold true for how we treat ourselves, right? How we celebrate, or how we reward, or how we spend our quality time of investment, right? And so when I take an activity or a vacation, or I spend, or I do something in this happy space, right? Trying to be happy or create happiness, I can look back on it and go, hey, did this fill me up? Did this create joy? Did this create energy? Or did it leave me drained? Did it perpetuate a story of the past? Did it create something that was shameful? Does it drain me, right? And so in the same way, I can look at my own activities with myself and decide, hey, is this creating that happy life, right? Or am I not? So we started this with the phrase, finish this sentence, right? Or this statement, happy wife, happy life. And so the invitation is to go into the world and to pick up those burdens you can, transfer that weight, help people lay stuff down, pick up responsibilities that are potentially very easy or even in your wheelhouse that are going to have this amazing relational impact for you. It has changed our family. It has changed our home. And it has also created a lot of empathy, because just because I don't see it some way, or I don't experience it the same way, doesn't mean that it's not hugely impactful for the other person. And so that's the invitation, right? Go create happiness, to help people in this space. And the help I'd ask for in this space would be share this podcast, get it out there, let people join our community, let them hear this Navigating Leaders information, let them have an opportunity to choose differently today in the same way you've shown up here. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments in the community out there. We're going to continue to grow this thing, and we look forward to having you on the next Navigating Leaders podcast. Thank you.